Welcome to the Salisbury Area Chamber of Commerce Education Committee Network's PAC 14 TV show, Education is Everybody's Business. My name is Ladd Colston. I am both a member of the Chamber and the CEO of Sustainable Visions, LLC. I am your host for today's educational topic, which is Eastern Shore Teachers, We Support You. Sponsored by the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore, Chamber CEO Bill Chambers, and all of our Education Committee Network members, we want this TV show to be a source of community awareness and knowledge of topics that impact education and workforce development here on Maryland's Lower Eastern Shore. We appreciate you listening in and providing us with your feedback on its usefulness. And please subscribe if you're viewing this show on YouTube, and a thumbs up if you like it. Recently, an ABC News survey found that top teachers across the country say they face major hurdles in the classroom, including staffing shortages, the pinch of low pay, and addressing student mental health, many of which stems from closures during the COVID-19 pandemic. Recruiting and retaining teachers is currently a major problem, ranging from staffing child care centers, pre-K to 12th grade, public and private school classrooms, to now college and university campus courses. Whew! I believe Mrs. Rebecca Peterson, the 2023 National Educator of the Year, says it best. We have to think of big and small ways that we can wrap our arms around teachers and remind them how important they are to us individually and also to our communities. In this episode of Education is Everybody's Business, we will share how the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore is currently providing its financial support to our Eastern Shore classroom teachers. I have asked Ms. Erica Joseph, President, and Ms. Lauren Anstead, Program Officer of the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore, to briefly describe this funding program and introduce 3 Eastern Shore Teacher Grant recipients who are currently implementing innovative learning experiences for their students. Let me introduce Ms. Erica Joseph, President of the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore. Welcome.
It is really good to be here with you.
It's a pleasure always. Could you share with our listening audience the mission of the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore, and more specifically, your commitment to education in the region?
I'd love to share information on the Community Foundation anytime, anywhere. We are going to be 40 years old next year, and our mission is really, fundamentally to promote local philanthropy. And so we work throughout Somerset, Wycomico, and Worcester County with donors, nonprofits, community organizations, really to help facilitate identifying needs and identifying resources, and then matching those two things together wherever we can. And so over the years, we've been involved in many wonderful projects and established, partnerships throughout these various communities that we serve. And fundamentally, from the very beginning, at least in my time at the foundation, we have always had a specific commitment to education. And more specifically, which I know you'll talk more about, this empowerment of teachers to be able to get dollars in their hands to do things in their classroom that are really meaningful. And so, we see the vibrancy of a community directly correlated to the education of our youth and young people, workforce development, training, and technical assistance, so that as needs and opportunities change in our community and in individuals' lives, we have resources that can help them to sort of bring themselves to the next level, learn a new trade, learn new skills, and be those engaged, productive members of our community.
That is so awesome. It truly is, and we really appreciate it. And I just want to take this time while you are here to just personally and professionally applaud all of the outstanding work that you, your board of directors, and your staff at the Community Foundation of Eastern Shore does to support education and workforce development here on the lower Eastern Shore. And so at this particular point in time, I just want to say, on behalf of the Salisbury Area Chamber of Commerce, our CEO, Bill Chambers, and all of our Education Committee Network members, we just want to say thank you. We want to say thank you from our heart for helping us.
Well, I appreciate that, and I know that it's been, a number of years and many volunteers and many opportunities to collaborate. And the philanthropic community, the nonprofit sector locally, is stronger because of the partnerships that we forge with our business community, and chambers of commerce are a huge piece of that. And so it's been our pleasure over the years to be able to work with you.
Well, we appreciate you because the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore makes education is everybody's business possible for you. Let me now introduce Mrs. Lauren Anstead. She's the program officer at the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore, who oversees facilitating this innovative grant program for interested teachers. Welcome.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure having you. Thank you for agreeing also to be a co-host for this show.
I'm excited.
I'm excited as well on this 6th episode. I can't believe it's been a year already of Education is Everybody's Business.
Wow.
For our listening audience, could you briefly provide an overview of the Foundation's Education Grants Program and tell us more about it? In specific, how much funding can you request? What is the time frame for proposal submittal and completion? And lastly, how many grants are usually funded annually? This is for those teachers that may be interested in applying for the grants program this year.
Absolutely. So yes, this is one of the Community Foundation's annual grant programs. It focuses specifically on teacher-led, student-oriented projects in pre-K through 12 schools in Wicomico, Worcester, and Somerset counties. Teachers can request up to $5,000 per project, and we can support up to 2 projects per school. As far as how many grants we award each year, it kind of depends somewhat on how many requests we get, but last year, for instance, we were able to make 45 grants, totaling just under $150,000. So that was our biggest year yet, actually. And so the application opens at the end of June. It's available on our website. If you find our eGrants platform, it's on the nonprofits page of our website at cfes.org. Okay. And it's open for 8 weeks. It closes at the end of August.
End of August. Okay.
Yeah, but so one of the really great things about this grant program is that it's responsive. So it's an opportunity for teachers to let us know what needs they see in their classrooms and in their schools, and to present their ideas to us, because teachers have a lot of really great ideas that just aren't in the school's budgets. And so that's what these grants are for. So we see a really broad range of programs from, we certainly see a lot of experiential learning projects that are meant to enhance the general curriculum, the reading and science and math, but we also see a lot of projects that are focused on things like behavior, mental health, arts integration. We see a lot of trends. Last year, there was a huge focus on social emotional learning, SEL, so we supported a lot of SEL curriculum and books, and things like flexible seating in the classrooms and calm corners, they called that, was popular. But and I could talk all day about all the projects that we see, but it's really great to hear about them straight from the source. So I'm excited that we have some past grant recipients here today to talk about what they've done with their grants.
And you're going to introduce them,
I'm
and you're going to
looking forward
interview
to it.
them
Yeah.
and ask questions regarding each of their projects, and we can't wait to hear it.
Absolutely, let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
allow me to introduce Mr. Jerry Kelly. Mr. Kelly teaches horticulture services for Parkside High School CTE program in the Wicomico County Public School System. He is a 2021 education grant recipient, and his grant funded the Native Wildflower Project, which combines hands-on learning with some important ecosystem services on the Parkside campus. But you can tell it much better than I can, Mr. Kelly. So please tell us, what is the Native Wildflower Project?
Well, Lauren, first of all, thanks for having me. And I enjoy the opportunity to talk about our wildflower, what we call Pocket Meadow project funded by the Community Foundation. It was, the project in and of itself was establishing about 800 square feet of wildflowers on the Parkside campus. And now in our second year, it's flourishing. The first year it took a little while for the plants to get established, but now it flourishes. The whole backside of the campus is just a beautiful array of different types of wildflowers. And the staff and the students and the community is really getting a kick out of it, just the flourishing colors. And I will say also that the wildlife in that back section of our campus, we've seen the bunnies return, we've seen the birds return, and all kinds of pollinators are flying all around these wildflowers at this point in this time of the year. So we're really excited about it, and as the years come, to see how it matures and gets even better.
Yeah, I saw the pictures. They're absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
So how did you come up with the idea for the project?
Well, because the project in itself was sort of a synthesis of like 10 years worth of work. The Community Foundation here again came to our rescue about 10 years ago and had us, when I first started as a teacher, I wanted to see what was going on in our community. So the foundation supported us going out to local farms and local nature areas to see what was going on and seeing what people in our community were doing to improve sustainability. And so we interviewed people, we documented, the students did a lot of documentation to see what was going on. And that in and of itself was a learning experience. But then when we came back to our own campus, we're going like, we have 20 acres of monoculture grass here. And so we came up with a lot of different ideas, and we formulated, a lot of those students formulated small grants, and we did like small projects, whether it was a small pollinator gardens and so forth. And one of the students came up with the idea of establishing a pocket meadow. And so we did it on a small scale, a couple different, subsequent years. We did a couple small meadows, and we going like, this is fantastic. We need to add some scale to this and make it much larger. And so that's how the idea came about.
So what is a pocket meadow? Is that just does that just describe, the strip of flowers, or does it serve a specific type of purpose, or?
Well, it's just, it's not like a large, natural meadow.
Gotcha.
You take the idea of the meadow and the type of plants that are typically in a natural meadow, and you put them into a landscape that doesn't have it.
Gotcha. So is this project something that's going to be wrapped up at the end of the year, or are you going to keep this going? Is it ongoing?
Well, it's sort of, now that we've gotten to this part, it's like, where else can we, take what we've learned and apply that in different, whether it's on our campus or somewhere else in the school system. So we're kind of excited. We learned a lot in the process of doing it.
What were some of the learning outcomes?
Well, we tried. We didn't do it all at once. It wasn't like, we go out there and we're going to establish these plants. We did it in like successive months. We tried applying seeds at different intervals, like what would work best. You know, what type of additional like compost or things we could add before we, you know, sowed the seeds, so to speak. We even tried like soaking the seeds and so forth. Excuse me. So we tried a whole bunch of different things. Our students did some documented research, which I'm happy to say they won the Maryland Plant Science competition with the research they've done on these meadows.
It's amazing.
So it was, you know, we had a lot of educational opportunities along the way where students could try some different things and learn.
Fantastic. So how many students have you been able to engage in this project?
You know, what's really cool is all of our students have taken part in it, whether it's the actual, you know, work of, you know, covering the grass and sowing the seeds and measuring the results through research and so forth and so on. But what's really cool is we've had all the photography students over there.
So you're engaging more than just the horticulture students.
Yeah,
Wow.
And some of the science classes have been over there looking for bugs and so forth. We actually this past weekend had a bunch of 4 and 5-year-olds from the local 4-H coming over and learning about how to establish a meadow and so forth. And we gave them some seeds so they can replicate that and maybe in their own yard and on a smaller scale. And what's really cool is we've had different organizations that want to promote the establishment of wildflowers, you know, as ecosystem services sort of thing. So we've had people from the Lower Shore Land Trust. We've had communities come in and see what we've done and learn from us on best practices and what we learned. So we've been able to share that as well. We've had some local school people come over from across the bridge, come to see what's going on.
Awesome. So how would you say this project has enhanced the students'
Excuse me.
yeah, sorry. So how would you say this project has enhanced the students' general curriculum and learning experience?
Well, we as in the study of horticulture, we want to find what plants are viable in our local area that our community can learn about, and maybe some types of plants might be better if you're trying to sequester carbon, or if you want to provide some filtration services for your yard. And so we've used in the mix for this project, we've used 25 different seed mixes to see what would work best. And so, the students have learned a lot about, the value of different types of plants and what would work the best. I think one of the coolest things is we took a whole stretch in front of our greenhouse and established beneficial insect type of wildflowers that attract beneficial insects. And so those beneficial insects feed on the harmful ones that fly into our greenhouse. And so we haven't had a problem in 2 years.
Wow. That's great. This is it's such a great experiential learning opportunity. And I love that the students also helped come up with the idea. So even that was a learning opportunity, just the creation of the idea of the project. So thank you so much, Mr. Kelly, for being here and for telling us about this project.
Thank you, and thank you to the Community Foundation. You made it all possible.
It's our pleasure.
Yep.
So
Thank
you.
Thank you.
It is a pleasure to welcome our second teacher grant recipient, Miss Stephanie Krisilevich, who teaches computer science at the Salisbury School. And Miss Chris, may I call you Miss Chris?
Absolutely.
Miss Chris is also a 2021 education grant recipient, and her grant funded Sphero Robots that she's been using for her STEM lessons. So tell us, please, what are Sphero Robots and how are you using them in computer science?
Sphero Robots are these teeny tiny little plastic balls that have gears and a wonderful little LED screen in it. And the kids use either a draw program or they can write block code to make it do whatever they need to do, like run mazes or river ramps that we've built. It's just kind of a fun way to integrate technology in a different way.
So they're using it for coding.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's very cool. So how many students are using these Sphero robots?
I teach actually 3rd through 8th grade, so all of my students, close to around 170 students, use these, when we're doing our robotics unit. But I also have the kindergartners come over when my 6th graders are finished up doing their maze program, and we show the kindergartners how they ran, and then my 6th graders teach the kindergartners how to make some little small programs. So I'm kind of getting them from the very start and hooking them before they get to my class in 3rd grade.
That's so cool. So this is an ongoing thing. You plan to keep using these for years to come, or?
I want to use these until they either die or they become so obsolete that I have to write another grant for another set of them. They're that critical and they're that value to me.
That's great. So, but you've had I know you've got a year or more of using them behind you. So, what have been some of the learning outcomes?
Oh gosh. Probably my biggest learning outcome is the kids have learned perseverance, that even though you tried and you think you've got this perfect program, it doesn't always necessarily work the first time. So they're really learning about grit and that they have to stick to it, and that it might take a few times, but you get there. And that's probably my biggest thing, is that they just learn that you can't give up after the first try, because even in real coding, people, their first try it doesn't always work. So you need to ask a friend or somebody else to check it out. And we're really learning like those kind of people skills. And it's just a great tool.
That's great. That's an important lesson, perseverance. So how has the funding of this project helped you to better engage your students, and how has it helped them academically as well?
Oh my gosh. So the engagement is incredible. It gets my quiet kids who don't necessarily speak up or do a lot of hand raising in class to get them involved, because they can quietly do their own thing and then run their programs. And I just get them so drawn in. And it's crazy because when I pull out my robot case and I plug them in, the kids are like, oh, is it robots time? And just the excitement and the buzz that comes around just having the case out. It's nice to know that the kids look forward to something, and it's not like, oh, we have to do that. It's just a great way to get all of my learners engaged and have a fun time. And the giggles and smiles, I'm glad I have a door in my classroom, because when we have the robots, we get a little loud because we're excited and we're laughing and we're having a good time, but they're learning a lot too. So it's a win-win. It's fun and it's learning.
Yeah, so it's engaging, but it's also increasing their academic skills.
Oh my gosh, absolutely, absolutely. Because they're using more than just, coding skills. They're using problem solving and like, okay, so it ran this way, but it didn't work. So what can I try next time to make it go that way, or to do this? So they're building on all those problem solving skills that they've had before, but just applying them in a different way. And it's just neat to see their little brains just running and working, and they're so intense, and it's just awesome. It makes me happy.
That's great. See, these hands-on learning projects, they have some really amazing outcomes. And
Absolutely.
I think engaging the students is one of the best parts of it, just really getting them excited about learning. So,
Oh, yeah.
So thank you so much for coming to tell us all about your project.
Thank you. I appreciate coming, and I appreciate sharing these wonderful little balls of amazement.
They're so cool. So please join me in welcoming Ms. Laura Aranella. She is a curriculum resource teacher at Buckingham Elementary School in the Worcester County Public School System. And Ms. Aranella is a 2021 grant recipient. Her grant funded a literary vending machine at Buckingham, which they've used for a One School, One Book program, as well as a behavioral incentive program. So please tell me more about how you've used this literary vending machine at Buckingham.
We, first of all, are so grateful for this grant, because this, vending machine, this literary vending machine has been a dream and something that we've wanted for a long time. So now that we finally have it, we do use it for our One School, One Book program, which is a school-wide book club. Happens once a year. We choose a novel, and families are encouraged to read aloud to their child at home. And they get a calendar, and we have trivia questions each day. But at any rate, at the beginning, every student in the school from kindergarten through 4th grade gets a coin, a golden coin, and it has a little bookworm on it. They love that. And they put the coin in the machine and they get that book for the book club. So they love standing in line and getting their copy of the book club book. This year we read 2 books, actually. We read a book about dinosaurs, a nonfiction book, and then the paired book for Magic Tree House, Dinosaurs After Dark. And they loved it. They loved going to the machine and getting their book, and they look forward to that each year.
Anything that gets kids excited about reading is a big plus. But you're also using it as behavioral incentive.
Yes, absolutely. So we have a PBIS program at our school, and so students earn positive office referrals. So that would be for doing something extraordinarily good or nice. And so students that earn a positive office referral get to go to the principal's office. The principal calls home, tells the parent what a wonderful act the child has done, and then the child also gets to go to the vending machine and get a book. They love getting that. Students of the month throughout this program also get a coin, and they get a t-shirt, so they get to line up and get their book. Also, the most rewarding one to me is there's a school store where students earn points by making good choices, dojo points, and they, collect their points, and they might accrue, 50 points. And if they want, they can cash in 35 of their dojo points to get a ticket and a coin to go to the machine. And students do that. They choose that over an eraser or a bookmark or a squishy ball. They want the coin. So it's really exciting. And oftentimes students will tell me that they saw a particular title in the machine and that they wanted the coin for that reason.
That's amazing. And so how many students do you think you've been able to engage with this project?
Every student at Buckingham last year and this year. So that's about 650 students, but every student gets to participate. Even our pre-K students get to go at a different time of year. They'll be going soon, actually, for the end of the school year, and they'll be getting a book to transition into kindergarten. Oh. They're going to get either a copy of The King of Kindergarten or The Queen of Kindergarten, and so they'll get to buy a book as they go into kindergarten as well.
How has this project benefited them academically?
So we've had a school improvement plan each year that is based on data on our student need, and this year it was about nonfiction text. So that was the area our students needed to grow. So our One School, One Book was a nonfiction selection paired with a fiction selection. And then I also wrote an additional grant to the Worcester County Education Foundation and asked for some additional titles that were nonfiction. So we filled the machine at one point with only nonfiction material so that students could get more practice reading, facts and building their comprehension.
So it's so creative. I love this project. So would you say that the funding of this project has helped you to better engage students in
Absolutely,
school?
absolutely. They love to come and look at the machine. It's right by the lunch line. So while they're waiting to get their lunch, they're looking in the machine and talking about the books they want. Oh, I want that Diary of a Wimpy Kid, or oh, I want that Fly Guy. Those are some really popular ones. They love Mo Willems, and I love trying to stock the machine with all of their favorites. And I ask the students, as they come and go, what's something that you'd want to see in the machine? Which also reminds me, we had 2 top readers, and they got to pick $500 worth of titles for the machine.
Wow.
They had won the Bradell Foundation readathon, so they part of their prize was to pick some titles for the machine, and so they had fun selecting books. So it's just the gift that keeps giving.
I was just thinking that. That was what went through my head.
Yes, and we think of different ways to use it all the time. Around Easter time, we had an egg hunt, and I put some coins in the eggs. That was a huge, exciting find for students. So we are always trying to utilize it in different ways, and the students absolutely love going. We've probably filled it with about close to $6,000 worth of books, and we'll do that again next year. Just the popular titles that they want to take home.
Awesome. I mean, it's an amazing idea. You've done really incredibly creative things with it, and I hope that it keeps serving you well for years to come.
Oh, it will. I can assure you. And thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
Well, this brings us to a close for our 6th show of this inaugural year. Please listen out for our lineup of next year's hot educational topics, and please, if you can, make plans now to attend our Salisbury area Chamber of Commerce Education Network Fall 2023 Regional Community Forum on Education. This Regional Community Forum is already scheduled for Tuesday, October the 10th, 2023 at the Wicomico County Youth and Civic Center. Put the date into your calendars now. And until then, remember, education is everybody's business.